Hi, I didn't see you there. I was just playing a little Accursed Fiend. But while I've got you here, I'd love to tell you more about the GameTank. The GameTank is a new and original design console that I've been working on for the past 5 years. Why? Well, at first, I just wanted to see what it would look like if I started with an 8-bit microprocessor and problem solved from the bottom up until I had a game system. However, what I ended up with was a platform that is surprisingly fun to develop for and has a unique character all of its own. Let's take a closer look at this device and see some of its specifications. The GameTank has two W65CO2S microprocessors, one running at 3.5 MHz and the other at 14. We've got a 128 by 100 pixel display, 200 colors that can all display simultaneously, and a hardware blitter that I'll get back to in a minute. We have 8-bit PCM audio that can go at 14 kHz or higher. We also have a 2 MB standard cartridge, two controller ports, and an expansion port. Now, going over specs is nice, but it doesn't tell the whole story. The GameTank's real ace in the hole is the blitter that I mentioned. Now, I could go on about describing the blitter without any visual aid, but we can also look at a game that uses it extensively. Well, they all use it extensively, but this upcoming title does it pretty well. This is Ganam, an upcoming exploration action platformer with melee combat. You might notice that the main character has more fluid movement than an 8-bit era game would typically have. A blitter is a device that performs hardware-accelerated copy operations, or it's a really dry way of saying it can copy images from a sprite sheet onto the screen really fast. Because characters don't have to be made of fixed-size sprites, it's very easy to have animation frames of different sizes, and use a more densely packed sprite sheet than a simple grid. As you can see here, it also handles flipping and transparency. Next, I'd like to show you what's inside a GameTank and talk about the various ways that you can get a hold of one. Here we actually have the very first complete GameTank. This was assembled by hand a little over 2 years ago, but it's still compatible with any new cartridge games. This is what you'd build if you go the DIY route, starting from bare boards and soldering the parts on by hand. There are about 60 different chips on here, including 2 processors and 4 different RAMs. These 2 boards snap together, where the top one handles audio-video output and the bottom one runs game code. This took me about a whole weekend to put together, including breaks, but even a soldering novice can do it over the course of a week. The DIY kit is designed to be beginner-friendly. It might look daunting, but it's just a large number of easy joints. We'll be offering a partial kit for about $30, where we include bare PCBs and a couple of the parts that are hard to get without a bulk order, including the rest of the parts you can expect to build it. Including the rest of the parts, you can expect to build it for $270, $280 just for the console by itself. This can be a good route to go with if you're interested in the soldering experience and you want easier access to all the chip legs for debugging or hacking. Now, we're also offering a pre-built version that's actually cheaper than the hand-built version, but is made of equivalent chips, just smaller and cheaper due to being produced in greater quantity. You've seen the pre-built version spinning in its case on the other camera. This is what it looks like inside. The same 2 boards perform the same jobs, again with smaller versions of all the same chips. Due to switching to a surface mount process and sourcing these boards in quantity, we get a pretty good deal. We can offer these at $230, basically at cost, including a controller, a printed manual, RCA cables, and a 9-volt power supply. This is the controller, by the way. This is a new design that you might have not seen in another video or at a certain expo. It's a bit clickier. I don't know if you can hear that, but this should be a little bit more satisfying, and it's not really that much. It doesn't account for a whole lot of the price of the retail kit. It felt important to have its own controller, because that gives it its own kind of like identity. And so you could use a Genesis controller if you want, but this is the GameTank. This is the first party model. Of course, the 3D printed parts are essentially being thrown in for free, so we do appreciate you buying a game or two. Only 4 are up for sale at filming time, but we hope to grow this number soon. Speaking of growing the number of games, developers. Where's the text? Developers. Come try out our dev tools. We have a C SDK, somebody made Rust tooling, and a cartridge flasher along with blank cartridges are available on the store as well. We have a game jam coming next month that'll run for a week plus a weekend. You can even develop games with just the emulator, which has some helpful debugging tools as well. I will personally be trying out all the submitted games on the real hardware on a live stream, and I really look forward to playing yours! Now, I should really be going to bed, so I'll send you off with some web URLs, a spinning GameTank, and nostalgic infomercial jazz music. This has been the GameTank Show with Clyde Schaefer. Thanks for watching!